joined again today by Brian Larkin, CEO of United Oil and Gas, who have commenced their offshore MBES survey, aiming to prove the presence of an offshore petroleum system for their Walter Morant 7 billion plus barrel potential license. Nice to chat to you again, Brian.
Always a pleasure, Darren.
So, Brian, there's been quite a lot of press coverage coming out of Jamaica on United's offshore program, and the Minister for Science and Energy, Darrell Faz, was on the survey vessel with yourself ahead of its departure. How was the trip?
It was a very good trip, Darren. It was very positive engagement. It was great to have the support from Minister Vaz. He spoke very well. There's been a recording of his speech as well, which I think has been shared on social media. But he spoke very well and outlined his clear support for our project and for our operations. And it was also really good to demonstrate to the Minister the actual execution of the work program and share some of that kind of work program and the vessel and what we're trying to achieve with the media as well, and a lot of
Mm.
local engagement. So it was a very positive trip, and the media coverage of it has been really encouraging as well. So, and it also demonstrated, I think, having the minister there and his support, that we're very much aligned with driving this project forward and unlocking as much value as we can, as quickly as we can.
Mm. Okay, so where are you actually now operationally?
Well, the first stage of the program is nearing completion. In fact, it should complete in the coming days, if not coming hours.
Mm.
And once that's completed, we'll update the market to let our shareholders know that we've stage one has been completed. But the program itself is progressing very well. We're very pleased so far with the speed of the work, the quality of the data we're seeing already. But this is the first phase. The second phase is where we actually go and do the heat flow measurements, and then the third stage will be really where we target the piston cores themselves. But so far, the first stage has gone really well. We're very pleased with progress.
Okay. What do you actually get out of the first stage? Is it just is it seabed analysis or
Well, it's really high resolution seabed mapping, and that allows us then to really refine and narrow down where we want to focus on next, and really where we're going to target for the piston coring samples
right?
themselves. And it really helps improve our decision making essentially. And this piece of work, the first stage of work, it's a demonstration of discipline, step by step execution. Stage one, stage two, stage three. Let's do it
Mm.
right. Let's keep it simple and get get this piece of the program completed first to lay the foundations for the second stage and the third stage. But progress has gone really well so far. We're very happy.
And presumably those, say, stage one and stage two are just to give yourself quality data and the best chances of putting the piston cores in the right place.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. It's about, uh, this stage is about planning for the high value stage, which is
Mm.
targeting the piston cores and collating as much information as we can to make sure that the areas we target are the best areas, and pinpointing the exact locations that we believe we can have successful or extract successful samples.
Yeah. Can we quickly recap on some of the history? I mean, there's already a lot of evidence pointing to a working petroleum system offshore. Can we cover that? What evidence exists today, and how does this program build on that?
Well, I think the first piece of evidence which we've shared on social media before is the is
Mm.
the actual gas seeps that we've seen. I've gone out to see them personally myself. There's gas actually seeping to the surface on the island itself.
All right.
Historically, there's been 11 wells drilled, nine onshore, two offshore, all of which have hydrocarbon shows. Couple that with some of the more recent work that we've seen, particularly around satellite oil slick anomalies. There's every evidence that all the evidence you would look for is there for a working hydrocarbon system on the onshore. And now, really, this piece of the work program is validating that on the offshore. And
Mm.
it's kind of integrating the results of the piston coring work with what we know from the onshore to actually, improve the chances of actually finding commercial hydrocarbons.
Mm. Okay. So, assuming you get the results you're expecting, and given the strong evidence to date, how will this change conversations commercially in the data room? I mean, are potential partners sort of waiting this work or keenly, waiting to see the results?
It's a good question. The value of the project is there. It's more about demonstrating that value.
Mm,
The value is there. When you're evaluating these kind of opportunities, there's several ingredients that a potential partner would look for, and this is one of them. But it wouldn't make or break anybody's decision on whether they farm in or not. I think the value proposition lies in the wider scale value of 7 billion barrels of potential recoverable
mm,
volume. What this does, though, it does de-risk, and we commissioned a report which is on our from Lapidus, which is on our website, and we've spoken about this previously. It changes the risk profile from a 1 in 5 to a 1 in 3 if this is successful, and that does change the potential risk profile of the project naturally. It also addresses a lot of key technical questions that would
yeah.
a lot of potential partners would look to see as well, would look for answers for. So commercially, it would strengthen our hand naturally, but the overall value of the project is really within the 7 billion barrels, and it's about how do we bridge the gap to unlock that value, and this is kind of the final piece of the jigsaw to do that. So yeah, look, it absolutely supports the farmer efforts, but we don't see it as making or breaking those conversations whatsoever. In fact,
Right.
but yeah, look, it's certainly we'd rather have it done than not have it done, and we think it'll contribute to the farmer conversations. Yeah.
But as you say, completing that work and taking, say, the chance of success, I think it's Calibri or one of your initial targets, from 19 to 30% ish. That's obviously going to be something that is is going to be helpful in those discussions.
Well, I think
Yeah.
where we see the value
Mm.
being realized from a 1 in 5 to a 1 in 3 should be reflected in our share price more so than the value of the project.
Yeah.
And that's where we're expecting to see kind of the re-rate is, we have a project, the market's given us a value for it today. We've changed the risk and profile on that project, hopefully. You would expect that to be reflected in the value the market's giving us for in our share price. So I expect to see, you would certainly anticipate or hope to see the value of a positive outcome reflected in our share price. The value of the project, it's not going to shift significantly for us, I don't believe, but it's certainly you would expect to see a re-rate in our share price if this goes positive for us. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can't remember exactly, but I think it was something like circa 6 million market cap, which seems, it just seems woefully undervalued for a company with such a highly prospective resource of, say, as you said, 7 billion plus barrels. I'm not sure I've seen any other junior oilers with that sort of size of prize, if you like, sitting at that level of market cap. So, yeah, hopefully, when the work completes and you get a successful outcome, there'll be a reflection in the share price.
You would certainly hope so.
Mm.
Look, I don't like talking about the share price because it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And anytime we seem to get a bit of momentum, it seems to soften again fairly quick, which is very, very frustrating. But I think, look, from our side as a company, I think we're doing everything we can. We're telling the story as best we can. We're explaining the actual work program. We've launched a series of podcasts that I've asked my team to do called On the Rocks, and we're really trying to simplify the messaging in the story. And those podcasts are shared across our social media platforms. So I'd encourage our shareholders to have a look at them because what we're trying to do is actually break down the story and articulate it to our shareholders as simply as we can and as non-technical as we can, really, so that the market can understand the story a bit better.
Mm.
The work program that we're engaging at the minute is quite technical, and what we've really tried to do over the last few weeks is demonstrate in simple terms and non-technical terms what we're actually trying to achieve and how the work program will actually be executed. I think the recent trip I had to Jamaica was really encouraging because we have the minister behind us. We've got a lot of the local bodies, including the fisheries, right behind us, supporting us on this. And one of the big takeaways about this project for us was really the level of local engagement. To get that vessel to sea was 6 to 9 months of planning, permitting, prepping,
Right.
sourcing the vessel. I'm immensely proud of my team for the work that they did in orchestrating all of that, both in our office in Dublin and our team locally in Kingston. It was a lot of people had to be lined up into a row. All the permitting had to take place. And it was quite, an administrative challenge, but
Mm.
everything has gone very smoothly. And it's a demonstration, really. I've spoken about this as well on other platforms, but it's a demonstration of how supportive the Jamaican ministry and the various different bodies are locally to this project. And it was really encouraging that so many different bodies could come together and actually deliver this, without a hiccup.
Yeah.
It was really smooth.
I mean, this would be huge for Jamaica, wouldn't it? I mean, they've just gone through what, a Category 5, one of the worst hurricanes they've had in history. To have something like this where, there's going to be an active exploration program in Jamaica. It would be huge for the country. So I'm not surprised that there's a lot of excitement and support out there.
Yeah, look, it's a good news story for a change as well. Having had
Mm,
quite a lot of, upsetting, disturbing news over the last 3 to 4 or 5 months with the hurricane. It's positive news. It's good to see the investment has been well received. And obviously, if this was a successful project, it would be, a significant change for the government of Jamaica and its people. We have a responsibility to deliver that to the best of our abilities, and I think that's been recognised by the ministry and by the minister, Minister Vaz. And look, it's clear this type of a project, we can see the impact projects of this scale have had in other parts of the world. You look at Guyana, where a lot of our numbers for Jamaica are very similar to what's been discovered in Guyana, and we
mm,
see the potential impact it's had on that country. So yeah, look, it could be, you know, the word gets overused sometimes as transformational, but it would be, it could be life changing for Jamaica and its people. But it is an exploration project. It's not without its risks. And what we're doing with this piece of the work program is reducing that risk profile. And hopefully then we can bring in a partner.
yeah. Okay. Well, the program is now well underway. What should investors look out for over the coming weeks?
Well, we will update our shareholders as we move through the gears on this project. We will announce the completion of the first stage of the work program,
Yep.
and we will keep shareholders updated as we move into the second and third stage and with the results as they become known. So our real focus now operationally is, keeping all hands to the pump over the next few weeks to get the work program completed, the vessel work completed, and then it's taking the samples to the lab and interpreting them. So busy, we have a busy run up to the Easter period now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for joining me again, Brian. An exciting program underway. Perhaps we can chat again soon when you've got some results through.
My pleasure.